Okay? You've all got the precepts when we went into Job 1 and 6 to show you the sons of God who present themselves before the Most High. 2 Peter 2 and 4, when it goes into the angels that sinned and were cast down into hell. Okay? We also made statements to prove, and we're going to prove it today, that the angels bound one of the angels called Azazel under what you would call the Great Pyramid, Giza, in the desert Dudael. I'm going to prove that today. So now we understand why the Sphinx is on the dollar bill. The Great Pyramid Giza was not built during the time before the flood. And there's proof of that. There's water recession. It's proven that it made it through a deluge. That's where the angel, when you go straight down to the bottom where a rock is slid in place, that's where the angel Azazel is. Okay? He's the one that it's ascribed all the evil when the angels came down and slept with women. Now, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. You notice in the book of Revelation, it talks about a star falling into the earth, or a star falling, and that's a prophecy. To prove to you near the end, during the apocalyptic time, angels are still falling. Just like in the days of Noah. But they hide it through your news programs with saying Comet Elenin is coming, and this comet or that comet, when it's really speaking of fallen angels, and they're explaining it off with the news program so that we as normal citizens of this world don't understand that these are spiritual phenomena. If you understood that it was a spiritual phenomenon, you would probably believe in a God. So they use science and their programming box to actually distract you from the fact that you're living in prophetic times. Read on.
Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
And also after that.
And also after that. To show you that even after the flood, that there were giants. Now, the reason why it's paraphrased like this is because we're reading the book of Genesis, which is one of the books of Moses. Moses alone had information of the book of Jasher, also that was laid down to his fathers from Jacob on down. He also was shown the beginning of times and the end at Mount Sinai. So these things are recorded. So he says there were giants in the land in those days and after that. Because we all know that Moses went up against some of the Nephilim on the way to the land of Canaan. So another thing we understand, as the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be, is that things fall, angels' presence are having an authority over man. And also there's Nephilim in every society on a high level to fight against God's people. So these are they that are at what you would call the top of the pyramid. These are they who are controlling the world. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. That's what Christ said. Now when we yield our spirit, and I'm going to go into that, when we yield our spirit to them, that's the only time they have power over us. Finish reading.
And also after that.
And also after that, that means after the flood. Read.
When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown.
They came men of renown. Read.
Verse 5. And the Most High saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
So now the Most High is looking down on mankind and seeing that they are operating only to do evil. They're going away from the commandments of the Most High. And this influence is actually seeping into his elect, to the children of Seth. So he's looking at this evil. He's understanding that now Satan have a program that will eventually eradicate the woman's seed. That's the fight against God's people before the flood. Read.
Verse 6. And it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth.
And we was such a farce. We were doing such evil during that time that it repented the Most High that he created man from the beginning. So you can imagine what we were doing back then before the flood. Now usually this time is recorded in history under what you would call Greek mythology. This is how they hide it, through saying that it's a myth. When you see those old pictures like Dungeons and Dragons and Conan the Barbarian and all those barbaric type of people riding dragons and fighting and all that, all those things that we know didn't happen after the flood. That's where they get that those understandings, that history from. We're going to prove that. That all that history, that dark history, when people were operating all out, was before the flood. Read.
Verse 6. And it repented the Most High that he had made man on the earth.
Go ahead.
And it grieved him at his heart. And the Most High said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth.
So now the Most High is saying, you know what? I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to destroy them from off the face of the earth. Read.
Both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them.
So what did the Most High destroy? He said he's going to destroy the fowl of the air, everything. Because it repented. Now you have to realize, well, if mankind have sinned against the Most High, why is he destroying animals? They didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, but the Nephilim and those that were following the Nephilim started cross-splicing and damaging and destroying and sinning against the Most High's creatures. Bestiality, all that. Started when you look at the myth of Pan, part animals, part people, all those things, they were doing all types of crazy splicing before the time of the flood. So the Most High, why are you thinking the law? The Most High wrote certain things in the law when we went into the land of Canaan. On our way to the land of Canaan, he gave Moses things that you wouldn't think twice about. Why did he put in the law that you're not supposed to deal with a beast? These are the things that was happening before the flood. He gave us a law written so that we couldn't repeat the things that made us fall before the flood. Dealing with your sister, dealing with your mother, dealing with your father, dealing with another man's wife, and all those things which is according to commandments, against the commandments, were being done before the flood. Okay. Read.
Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah.
These are the generations of Noah.
So now it goes to the generations of Noah, and we all know the story. Noah went to build the ark. While he was building, he was prophesying, and yet few listened. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, there's not too many of our people like you that are here about 6 o'clock Eastern in your time, or 3 o'clock on the West Coast, wherever you might be right now. There's not too many people at 6 o'clock Eastern sitting down with their Bibles open, looking at what's going on in end times and trying to follow the Most High like you are. That's very rare. So imagine nobody hardly followed Noah. All right. Finish reading.
Verse 9. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just and perfect Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with the Most High.
And he walked with the Most High, which means he was keeping the commandments. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Go ahead.
Verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence.
It filled with what?
And the earth was filled with violence.
We're going to show you how this violence was taught. Okay, and violence is from the devil. Violence is from Satan. Read.
Verse 12. And the Most High looked upon the earth. Behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And the Most High said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
I will destroy them with the earth. So the earth was punished too. At this time, there was only one landmass. The landmass was on one side, and the water or the seas were on the other side, as we see in Genesis, the 1st chapter, during our creation lesson. So what happens? Water started coming through the earth, breaking up the earth, making islands, making different parts. The whole earth was being destroyed. And that's where you get some of the ruins, the ancient ruins underground of the city Atlantis. Okay, that's where you get the ancient city that they find under the Atlantic, called Atlantis. That was the city of the giants. Now, let's see what was going on before the flood. Let's go into the book of Enoch. And I want to read in the book of Enoch what was taught. The agreement that was made, what was taught. And for those who might question whether or not Enoch is canonical or righteous learning. Okay, for those who might question, don't think a man was as righteous as Enoch and didn't have record. Okay, he was the righteous before the flood. But yet you cannot read anything about Enoch, hardly, when it comes to serious detail, in-depth detail within the Bible itself. Why? Because the Roman Catholic Church was over the canonization, and they were hiding the fallen angels, their leaders, and the children of the fallen angels. Their so-called saints and statues they're worshiping are the children of Nephilim, or the children of the fallen angels. So they were hiding Enoch, because if they tell you about Enoch, then they must now start bringing forth information of what the Most High used Enoch for, and what's going on with those spirits that were loosed in the earth during the time of Enoch. Okay? They don't want to explain those things, but for those who question Enoch, if you read Hebrews 11:5, it says, by faith Enoch was translated. That means he did not see death, that he should not see death, and was not found. He became, it says, and was not found, because the Most High, had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony, that he pleased the Most High. So based on Hebrews 11, we all can read that Enoch had a testimony. But our question is, why can't we read this testimony? Why don't the churches that talks about Jesus and pleasing God, why they never speak about Enoch? He was so righteous, the Most High translated him. Before the flood, he was king and priest. It so happened he would come out every day at one point, and he was prophesying. It tell you in Enoch.